our first class of the day, rock jog. Hey, what's up, everyone, and welcome to this training. Today, we're going to get to talk about my favorite thing on the entire internet, my favorite thing on all of social media, which is Instagram Reels. I'm going to explain to you how to dominate Instagram using Reels. And the reason that we're focusing on Reels for this conversation is because Reels are king. Let's just face it. Instagram, according to their CEO, is no longer just a photo sharing app. Gone are the days of having success on Instagram with text posts, with pictures, with infographics, with basically anything that isn't a reel. Sure, you can have success. It's not impossible, but reels are king. If we're being real, reels are king. I'm sorry for that pun. I promise I'll stay away from the dad jokes for the rest of this training, but reels are king. Reels are getting 4 to 5 times more reach than any other kinds of posts. That means that reels are getting seen by more people than any other kind of post. Also, reels are reaching more non-followers than any other kinds of posts. So while you might post a picture and a reel, and they might both reach, let's say, 8 of your followers, the picture is only going to reach one person who isn't a follower, whereas the reels are going to reach 15 people who aren't followers. So reels have a significantly higher reach to people who aren't followers. Reels are also getting 22% more engagement than any other kind of post on Instagram. 22% more engagement just because of what it is. They're highly engaging, they're highly addictive, and Instagram has made Reels their focus. Reels are Instagram's focus. And the final reason that we're talking about this today is that Reels have been central to my own personal growth on my Instagram account over the last year. It's kind of serendipitous, the time and the day that we're recording this, because we are exactly a year after I began this hyper-focused, hyper-productive strategy and journey. And I'm going to share a little bit more about that later. But personally on my account, just to speak for personal experience, I have grown by over 365,000 followers in the last 365 days. In the last year, I've been growing by more than 1,000 followers per day because of this consistent Reels strategy. Now, before we even get into Reels, it's very important that you have two things clearly optimized and identified. Number one, you need a clear, singular focus or subject for your account. Some people call this niche, some people call this focus, subcategory, whatever you want to use to describe it. Your account needs a clear niche or focus. It needs a clear single subject that you are focusing on for your account. And every one of your reels is going to be about that. We're going to talk about that later. That's number one. Number two, your account, your profile needs to be optimized for success. You need to have the username set up correctly, the profile picture. You need to have your bio typed out correctly. I see way too many bios that say, mom of 4 fur babies, wine lover, skiing enthusiast, I'm a Virgo, been married for 17 years. Those are awesome things. Congratulations. But when I land on your bio, it needs to read like a billboard. And last time I checked, last time I drove on the freeway, I didn't see any billboards that were just a list of random fun facts. When I see your bio, it needs to clearly and explicitly and immediately tell me what it is you do, how you help, what kind of content you're going to be posting about. Like basically, why should I follow you? Why should I give you one of my precious follows? That needs to be clearly articulated in your profile. Once you have those two things, let's talk about Reels. Let's start getting into how you can use Reels to dominate on Instagram. And yeah, dominate, not just, grow or not just see some results, but like actually next level dominate on Instagram. First of all, why are they so effective? I've been telling you about their 22 times better performance and they get significantly more reach, but why? Why are they so effective? Well, first of all, they're Instagram's newest and favorite content. Yesterday, my sister drove a couple hours to go look at some pug puppies, which if you've ever seen a picture of a pug puppy, puppy pugs are got to be like top tier cuteness. They're just so helpless and they're so cute. But I got, I kid you not, 17 pictures from my sister yesterday, as well as 5 videos. One of the videos was like 4 minutes long. And listen, I love dogs. I love pugs. And as I just said, there's nothing cuter than a pug puppy. But 17 pictures and 5 videos in like a 10-minute span, that's a little much. My sister, though, she was obsessed. She was in love. She was sending me all of these pictures and videos over and over again because it's the new thing, right? The pug is the new thing in her life. If she adopts this pug in 17 years from now, the pug's still scooting around, she's not going to be sending me 17 pictures and 5 videos a minute. Right now, the pug is the new thing in her life. Think about when your friend brought home that new baby, like their Instagram was just covered in pictures of the new baby. And you're like, it's cute, but like it kind of also looks like a potato right now. But that's just human nature. Whenever we create something new, we want everyone else to see it. We want everyone else to check it out. We want everyone else to share in our excitement. And reels are the new thing on Instagram. They're the new kid on the block. They're the new baby that was just brought home. They're the new pug. They are Instagram's newest and favorite content. That's the first reason they're so effective. The second reason they're so effective is, like I said earlier, they're just shown to more people. So of course, if they're shown to more people, they're going to be engaged with by more people. They give you the opportunity to grow your following. More eyeballs leads to more engagement and more followers and more customers and more business. Number 3, they have the longest TOP. TOP. TOP stands for time on platform. And this is what every social network cares about. I don't care what social network you're on. The number one thing that these social media platforms care about is TOP, time on platform. Basically, what time on platform stands for is how long are you spending on Instagram? And Instagram, the company, Meta, Facebook, they've figured out that when you are creating reels, when you are watching reels, when you are consuming reels, you spend more time on Instagram. And that's what they want. And so they want more people to be making more reels. They want more people to be watching more reels. Reels have the longest time on a platform. And so Instagram wants to reward you for creating those reels, longest time on platform. And then the fourth reason why reels are so effective is because they have the longest shelf life. Let me know how many people, and you can, just let me know, think about it. Have you ever been watching a YouTube video and at some point in the video, you realize this video is like 7 years old, or this video is like 10 years old, or this video is from 2009. This video is more than a decade old. Like that happens to me all the time. Just the other day, I was watching a YouTube video on my phone and I was like, this video is like 6 years old, yet I'm still watching it. So the person who created that video, they're loving it because they made this one video 6 years ago and here it is today still getting views. That happens all the time on YouTube, right? But that rarely happens on Instagram. Like, unless you're Insta stalking your ex-boyfriend, you're probably never going to see a post that's more than a few hours, maybe a few days old at most. You're not going to see posts from decades ago. You're not going to see posts from years and years ago, like, unless you're stalking someone. Like, you're not going to get that far. You're seeing posts that are recent, right? That's how Instagram, that's how TikTok, that's how most of these social media platforms work. Reels are a huge exception, though. Reels have, as I said, the longest shelf life of any kind of post on Instagram. What this means is Reels can get discovered and views weeks, months, or we've even seen years after they were first posted. And not because someone was scrolling back through your whole profile and stalking you, but just because Reels are shown to more people. Reels are shown to people long after they were originally posted. Long after. We've even seen people who posted reels, and when they posted it, it didn't do so well. It, kind of did okay, maybe even below average engagement at first. And then they kind of forgot about it. And then a few months later, suddenly their following is like blowing up, and they're like, I don't know what's going on. Like, did Gwen Stefani share my reel or share my profile or like tag me or something? Like, why am I blowing up right now? And they scroll back through their profile and they find out that reel that they posted 4 months ago that did okay at first suddenly is blowing up and going viral and reaching millions of people. Reels have the longest shelf life. People can continue to consume your reels long after they were created. So that's why reels are so effective. But why does this matter? Right? Like, why does getting more views matter? Why does reaching more people? Why does this matter? Like, well, at the end of the day, like, cool, like you can end up like a Kardashian and be an influencer, but like, why does this matter? Ultimately, and very simply, it matters because views turn to followers, and followers can turn to customers. I know that's an oversimplification, but ultimately, those are the 3 steps of social media: views, followers, customers. It's the same thing off social media. Think about the boutique down the street that sells fancy hats. They need someone to walk by and view their shop. That's views. They need someone to come in to the shop and take a look at some of the products and maybe talk to some of the staff in the shop. That's becoming a follower. And then they need someone to pick out a hat and walk it to the cash register and purchase it, become a customer. It's those same 3 steps. So, with that being said, here are my best practices for reels. And you know what? I call these things best practices, but I'm going to be real with you right now. Most of these things I'm about to share, these aren't best practices. These aren't recommendations. These aren't things that you should give a try. These are mandatory. I'm hesitant to say that word because there's always going to be exceptions. There's always going to be the 1% who this doesn't apply to, but these are as close to mandatory, as close to necessary as you're going to get. When it comes to social media practices, this is as close to necessary as you're going to get. But here are my best practices. We'll still call it that. Here are my best practices for your reels. First of all, related to your niche. We talked about that briefly earlier, but every single one of your reels needs to be related to your niche. Can I tell you why this is? A little personal anecdote, a little personal story of why this is. On TikTok, I have 300,000 followers, well over 300,000 followers. I have millions of views and millions of likes over on TikTok. That's awesome, right? And I'm saying TikTok because there's a lot of parallels between TikTok and Reels, but I'm using my own personal TikTok as an example for this. So I have a very successful TikTok, right? Thousands and thousands of followers, millions and millions of views. That's awesome. Woohoo, way to go, Brock. But it sucks. It's terrible. Having that big of a TikTok is terrible. And here's why. I accidentally grew that following. I accidentally blew up. I did it unintentionally, and it has come back to bite me. Here's exactly what happened. Back in 2019, I was a college football player, and I posted some videos of myself dancing in the locker room with my teammates. Some of them would be like wearing our football pads, and it was funny. It was like people are getting to get a peek into this like hyper masculine environment of a college football locker room. And instead of us being like, grunting and like, eating protein bars and bench pressing, we're dancing to TikTok videos. And this was back in 2019 before TikTok was like the cool thing to be doing. So they blew up. One of our videos was one of the most viewed videos on all of TikTok in 2019. Crazy, right? But here's the problem. A bunch of people followed me for dancing. A bunch of people followed me for locker room content, dancing with my football pads. A lot of people followed me for the wrong reason. I posted videos that were not related to my niche. That might have been something that I was doing and having fun with at the time. But my niche, as you know me today, is helping people grow on Instagram. I help business owners and creators grow on Instagram, grow on social media. And so now I have a bunch of followers, over 300,000, who don't care about that. They only care about me dancing. And so even though I have 300,000 followers, when I post a video about social media tips, growing on Instagram, the newest trends, when I post about those things, I get like a couple thousand views. I have 300,000 followers, and I'm lucky to get 3,000 views. I'm lucky to get 1% of those people even viewing my content because I blew up and posted reels that were not related to my niche. So that is why you should not post reels or TikToks for that matter that are not related to your niche, because you either are going to blow up like I did and do it for the wrong reasons, or the other option is you post something that isn't related to your niche and it just doesn't do well, right? Imagine you follow someone who gives beginner rock climbing tips. Like you're getting into rock climbing and that's your new obsession. So you follow someone who just does beginner rock climbing tips. And then one day they post about their kid's third birthday, or they post about a new recipe for a yummy salad, or they post about their business opportunity. You're like, what? This isn't why I follow this person. So now you're not going to engage. You're not going to continue following them. You might unfollow them. You're not going to continue looking at their posts. And so it does poorly, right? Either it does well, but it's actually bad news, or it does poorly, which of course is bad news. So that's why every one of your reels should be related to your niche, related to your niche. Number two, the cover should match the content. Now, a lot of people stress over the cover of their reels and they think it needs to be like this hyper curated, beautiful, jaw-dropping photo, or it has to be like this perfect edit or filter, or it has to match the same special colors and branding. None of that stuff really matters. Less than 1% of people who view your reel are even going to see the cover. It's a very small percentage of people who view the cover of your reel, but it is beneficial to have some sort of title on the cover, just that the cover matches your content. It'd be very confusing if you went to my Instagram and there was like this picture of this plant, right? Like you go to my Instagram and the cover is just like this picture of this plant. And you're like, what? And then you tap on it. And then it's like me. And I'm like, hey, here's some tips on how to grow your Instagram. That doesn't make sense. So make sure that the cover relates to the content. That's all that your cover needs to be. It doesn't need to be fancy or professionally done. It just should match the content. Number three, and this one is huge, closed captioned, or you can summarize what you said in like typed out text. So Instagram does allow you, there's a really cool sticker that Instagram has recently added that allows you to automatically close caption your videos. That way, it just types it out for you. It's automatic. You don't have to control it yourself. You don't have to type out or pay to have your videos closed captioned. So that's a really helpful tool. But even if you don't have that, not everyone has the same features. Not everyone has that. You can just type out a summary of what you were saying in the video. This is huge for two reasons. Number one, it's huge to be inclusive, right? And accessibility. Think about how many people on Instagram are deaf or hard of hearing and they want to consume your content, but they can't because you didn't close caption it. So now your video just looks like this. Like no one can hear you. That's number one. And number two, over 80% of Instagram users consume Instagram content. They consume content on mute with their sound off. Why? Well, because they're watching Instagram at work, right? They're watching a Zoom training from some guy with a blue stripy shirt, but like under the desk, they're actually like on their phone. They're kind of paying attention, but kind of not. Or they're at a stoplight and they're whipping out their phone, or they're waiting for their coffee to be ready and they're whipping out their phone. They're consuming content. They're on Instagram maybe when they're not supposed to be. Maybe they just put the kid down, or maybe they're rocking the kid to sleep and they got their phone in the other hand. Over 80% of people watch Instagram on mute. And so when you don't have closed captions, people can't consume your content, because when you're muted, no one can consume the content. So add closed captions, or at the very least, just type out what you said in the text. Cool. Number 4 of my best practices is to share to stories. After you post your reel, you want to share it to your story. I'm going to show you what this looks like right now. So here's a reel that I recently posted. All I'm going to do is tap on that paper airplane button right there. I'll point to that for you. Tap on that paper airplane button, and then tap the top option that says add reel to your story. Add reel to your story. Tap that and then share your reel to your own story. The reason for this is a few things. Number one, a lot of people only watch your stories and they don't see your feed posts. So by sharing it to your stories, you're letting that group of people know, hey, I posted this reel. You can go check it out. You can learn something new. You can laugh. You can feel entertained. You can feel inspired. Go check out this reel. So you can let those people know. But also, and maybe even more importantly, stories, views count. What does that mean? That means that anyone who views your reel on your story, the view counts. So let's say I get 10 views on my reel, but then I share it to my story. And my stories that day get 200 views. There's 200 people who watched my story that day. All 200 of those views count on my reel. All 200. So then it goes from 10 views to 210 views. And it also counts if my reel is on someone else's story. So let's say Justin Bieber is like, Brock, this is a great reel. I'm going to share this to my story. Well, now I get credit for all of those views that he's getting on his story. And sure, you might not have a mega celebrity like Justin Bieber sharing your reel, but what if you had some of your followers share your reel to their story? What if some other people in your business? What if some of your friends? What if some of your most engaged and loyal customers shared your reel to their story? They were like, wow, this is so relatable. I'm going to share this to my story. This is so funny. I'm going to share this to my story. This was so helpful. This is a problem that I've been having that I identify with. And Rebecca just solved it with her reel. I'm going to share Rebecca's reel to my story. Well, now Rebecca's reel benefits from that and gets all of the views. They don't even have to click. That's the magical thing. They don't even have to click on the reel. They don't even have to watch the whole thing. If the reel is, let's say, 45 seconds long and the story is only 15 seconds long, it still counts. As soon as the video starts playing, that view counts. So that's why you should always share your reel to your story. When is the best time to do that? Generally, I do it right away because I've found that when I share it right away and I get those initial views and that initial engagement, it helps me in the long run. Some people, though, they like to wait a little bit, and that's something to test as well. Test waiting around a little bit. So you post the reel, you let it get its normal engagement, and then maybe an hour or two after you posted it, then you share it to your story. And the thought there is, hey, I get the initial engagement, and then an hour or two later, once it starts to go down, I share it to my story and it starts to go up again. So you can test those two different options and figure out what's best for you. But the bottom line here is to share it to your stories. And then finally, test feed versus reels page. Test sharing to the reels versus sharing to the feed as well. Now, this is a little bit technical, but I'm going to show you what I'm referring to right now. And for those of you who have posted a few reels before, this might make a little bit more sense to you, but I'll show you what I'm referring to right now. So right before you post a reel and you type out your caption and you're on the screen, this screen right here, where you can see all of the like kind of settings and the, where the location and the caption and all this stuff. This is like the settings page before you post your reel. This is the last page before you post. There's this line right here, and I want to show it to you. It says right here, reduce visibility to followers. And you can turn that on or off. So right now, because it's in the gray, it's turned off. I can tap it, and now it's turned on. Reduce visibility to followers. Why would you want to do that? Why, Brock, why would I want to reduce the visibility to my followers? Why would I want less visibility from my followers? Why would I, my followers follow me? Why would I want less of them to see my reel? Here's why. Here's a potential reason why you would want to do that. If your followers aren't very engaged to begin with, if you have low engagement to begin with, if whenever you post, you're like, where is everybody? I have 3,000 followers, but I get like 2 likes. Why is no one seeing my stuff? They're not engaged. And we don't need to get deep into how the algorithm works, but basically, if they're not engaged, then Instagram isn't going to show them your posts. And if Instagram isn't showing them your posts, then they're never going to get engaged. So it's a self-perpetuating cycle. It's a self-fulfilling cycle. It's cyclical. So instead of even giving them the opportunity to see your reel, we're just going to let Instagram work its magic. We're going to say, I'm going to reduce the visibility to my followers, thus allowing the Instagram algorithm to show it to whoever it decides. to show my reel to whomever the algorithm decides is best fit to see it. When you reduce the visibility to your followers, you increase the ability of the Instagram algorithm to show it to the people who it thinks would like it. So that's something to test. It's not a guarantee. It's not, it's not a foolproof system that if you reduce visibility to your followers, your posts are going to do better, but it's something you should test. Give it a shot. Some people, no results, no benefit from doing that. But some people have found that they get 300% more engagement. That's some of what we've seen from our data and our research, that people are getting 300% more engagement, 300% more engagement from reducing visibility to their followers. And then thus, of course, let's keep walking down this path here. If we're reducing visibility to our followers and it's reaching more people, well, then those people who are not followers might become followers. They might actually spike our engagement. They might actually become engaged, loyal followers and customers. And then in the future, you can turn that off and turn off the reduced visibility and just show it to those engaged followers. But if you have low followers and low engagement right now, it's something to test. It's something to try out. Test sharing to the feed and test sharing only to the Reels page. Test basically reducing visibility to followers. So these right here, these are the 5 best practices for your Reels. You can go ahead and take a screenshot, whatever you got to do, write these down really quickly. The 5 best practices they're pretty close to mandatory for your Instagram Reels. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Moving on now. Growth hacks for your Reels. These are things to take your Reels to the next level. If you're brand new to Instagram Reels, some of these things might be a little bit confusing for you, but I don't want you to get caught up in the growth hacks if we haven't learned how to walk first. Like, I don't want you to get caught up in the tips of how to sprint faster if you're still learning how to walk, right? Like baby steps here. We got to crawl before we can walk. We got to walk before we can run. We got to run before we can sprint. We got to sprint before we can become Usain Bolt. So let's make sure that you got the best practices down. And then if you got these down, you're like, all right, Brock, I posted some Reels. I know what I'm doing. I know how to edit them. Well, then let's move on to the growth hacks. Okay. First growth hack, 3 pieces of text. Now, this is an approximate. This doesn't mean that every one of your Reels has to have 3 pieces of text, but from what we found, the most viral Reels don't have billions of text boxes everywhere. And I'll show you what I mean by that with an example that I recently shared just this morning. So I'll show you this Reel that I shared that had a lot of text. And again, these are things that are growth hacks. So not every Reel is going to fulfill these growth hacks, but this is a Reel that I posted this morning. Do you see how there's text everywhere on the screen? That's a lot. That can be overwhelming. So instead, I would recommend having 2 or 3 or 4 pieces of text, basically 2 or 3 or 4 text bubbles. That makes it simpler. Vanity yells. Instead, I want you to have value that whispers. Instead of covering your screen in a million pieces of text so that people have to watch it over and over again just to even read the text, let's provide so much value that people want to watch it over and over again. From what we found from an in-depth study of the most viral content, the average amount of text for those viral Reels is about 2 or 3 text bubbles, 2 or 3 pieces of text. So again, it's not an absolute. It's not like if you have four text bubbles, then all of a sudden your Reel's going to do terrible. If you have 2, then it's going to flop and fail. Just generally speaking, this is something to keep in mind. Next, CTA with either follow for more or read the caption. Let's break down, because there's a lot that we can break apart in this tip right here. First of all, what does CTA mean? Call to action. Call to action. What is a call to action? A call to action is telling people what you want them to do. Telling people what action you want them to take. That's what a CTA is. That's what a call to action is. These 2 call to action specifically are the ones that we have found to be most beneficial in your Reels. Follow for more and read the caption. Follow for more because it's telling people to follow you if they want more content like what they just watched. So when your Reels are seen by someone who doesn't follow you, they might just watch it and they'll be like, oh, that's good. Okay, I'll like it and keep scrolling. But if they don't follow you and they're like, oh, I like it, And then you're like, follow for more. Then they're like, oh, okay. Boom, follow for more. People are significantly more likely to act when they're told to do so. In email marketing, which I know we're shifting gears from Instagram to email marketing, but there's a lot of parallels here. And I think this stat will still be useful. In email marketing, when there's a call to action, people are, get ready for this, 371% more likely to act. People are 371% more likely to act when there's a call to action versus when there isn't. So the first call to action that I recommended is just follow for more. You can say that in your reel. You can have that float up on the screen somewhere, maybe just a piece of text. And the second call to action that I would recommend you use is read the caption, because that does a few things. Number one, it gets them to read the caption, of course. When you say read the caption, people are more likely to read the little caption that you typed out below your video. Number two, when they are reading the caption, they're getting more service, more value. They're getting to know you a little bit more. They're getting to consume more of your content, right? They're actually reading what you had to say. And then number three, what's going on when they're reading the caption? Your video is playing on repeat. Even if your caption is only like 1 or 2 sentences long, if I'm reading the caption, your video is still right up above the caption, just looping, playing, start to finish, repeating over and over again. And if your video is playing over and over again while someone's reading the caption, the algorithm just knows that your video is playing over and over again. The algorithm's not like, oh, well, they were reading the caption, so they weren't actually watching the video. The algorithm's just like, hey, when this video showed up on Susie's Instagram page, she watched it 17 times in a row. The algorithm doesn't know that you actually only watched it twice and then you read the caption for 3 minutes. The algorithm just knows, hey, this played 17 times over and over again. So encouraging your audience to read the caption, yes, it helps serve them. Yes, it increases their odds of reading the caption, but also it increases the number of times that your video will play, which helps you in the long run with the algorithm. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3 for your growth hacks is to use trending audios, and specifically use trending audios with between 1,000 and 10,000 other videos. Now, when you find audios on Instagram, and again, this might be one of those tips that if you're brand new to Reels, might not make any sense. But when you are looking at your audios, or you're looking at any audios on Instagram, you're going to see a little number. It says blank and the number, and it says Reels. So we'll say like original audio from Brock Johnson, 317 Reels. That means that 317 other videos have been made with this audio. Beat It by Michael Jackson, 17,000 Reels. That means 17,000 people have used that song or that audio. So what I'm recommending is that you pick out audios that are between 1,000 and 10,000 other videos. This is kind of a sweet spot that we found for when things are trending and they're popular, but they're not so popular that they're overdone. They're not so, overused that when people see it, they're like, oh, that trend is 8 months old. I'm over it. But I do want to say this quick disclaimer. I don't want you to get so caught up in finding the right audio that you're not posting enough, that you're not posting at all. You're like, ooh, this one's got 300 videos. It doesn't have 1,000 like Brock said, so now I can't use it. Use it. If you find an audio you like, use it. I don't care if it has 0 other videos made or if it has 17,000 other people using that audio already. If you find an audio that you like, that works for you, that can help you, that you're like, I just like this. I want to use it, Brock. Use it. Don't let me stop you. Use it. I'd much rather you use it, use an audio that's less than perfect, than drive yourself crazy and never post because you're searching for that holy grail audio, that you're looking for that diamond in the rough audio. Just post it. Just use the audio if you like it. All right. Tip number 4 of 5 for your growth hacks is to study TikTok emerging trends. If anyone has a TikTok profile and you've spent some time on TikTok, you most likely have realized that whatever's trending on TikTok will be trending on Instagram in about a week or 2. It happens over and over again. And it's actually kind of funny. You can very accurately predict what's going to be popular on Instagram based off of what is popular on TikTok about 2 weeks earlier. So if you have a TikTok profile, or even if you don't, I'd recommend creating one and just spend some time intentionally consuming. And there's a difference between intentionally consuming and mindlessly scrolling. Mindlessly scrolling is I'm sitting on my couch and I'm just like, ha ha, laughing, scrolling endlessly. I want you to treat social media like a business owner, like the business owner that you are. Use social media like a business tool. We don't mindlessly scroll through our emails. We're not just like scrolling through, reading every single email, every spam email, like, haha, this is good. And you just read and read and read. We go to our email usually intentionally. We want to respond to something. We need to answer something. We need to send someone an email. I want you to treat TikTok, treat Instagram, treat your social media the same way. Consume intentionally. So when you're scrolling through TikTok, notice with your ears open, your eyes open, notice. Is there a sound that I'm hearing over and over again? Is there a trend or a video style that everyone is doing? Is there something that's popular on TikTok? Because if there is, it's most likely going to be popular on Instagram in a week or two. And if you can be one of the first to adopt that trend, if you can be early to that trend, you're more likely to have success because of it. And then my fifth tip for your growth hacks for your reels is to do collaborations. There's a lot of different ways you can do this. There are a lot of technical ways, and there are a lot of really simple ways that you can collaborate with other people on your content. Get together with a friend, a spouse, a loved one, or just find someone else on Instagram who does the same thing that you do, who's in a similar industry or niche. Reach out to them and collaborate on content. When you collaborate on Instagram, reach, engagement, and views all significantly increase. So collaborate with other people. It also is really fun. It's really fun to get to work with someone else and combine your creativity and your ideas and your expertise to come up with a reel. Now, before we move forward, before we get to the rest of my slides, which a lot of these slides that we're about to get to are answering your frequently asked questions. Before we get there, I want to let you in on a trend that has changed in just the last week or two on Instagram. In just the last few days on Instagram, there's a new pervasive trend, a new big shift to what is working and what isn't working with Reels. A lot of people, I've been getting countless, literally thousands of direct messages from people whose Reels used to be getting a couple thousand views and now they're barely getting a couple hundred. A lot of people went from like 3,000 to like 50 views. What's going on? Instagram, the users, all of us on Instagram, we're kind of getting bored with the like pointing at things and the dancing and the lip syncing to viral sounds, the things that some of the things we just talked about. People are kind of getting over it. They're kind of getting bored with hearing the same sound over and over again from 15 different people. They're kind of over the like over the top dancing and things like that, or the things that feel forced just because people are trying to copy trends. People, and this isn't universal, but a lot of people are kind of over it. They're kind of like, okay, like I've had enough. What's working now, what's proving to have 3 times more engagement now is original audios. What an original audio is just what you're watching right now. It's me speaking. It's you speaking directly to the camera. It's you telling a story. It's you giving an inspirational tip. It's you speaking a quote, your favorite quote, your lesson learned from a book, something that you took away from a training you recently attended. It's you helping someone with technique or giving some advice. It's you motivating people or giving a tutorial. Direct to camera, spoken video is performing far better than any other kind of reel right now. This was a trend that Instagram predicted would emerge this year. This was a trend that we predicted would emerge this year. And here it is. It's here. The trends are not what's trending right now. The trending audios and the dancing and the pointing and the lip syncing, those aren't working as well right now. It's just you setting up your phone and speaking directly into the camera as if you were speaking to a friend, as if you were FaceTiming your BFF. as if you were doing a Zoom training or you were hosting a webinar or you were doing a presentation for your business group. Those are performing much better right now. And I hope that's good news, because the trends and the dancing, that might have been like an easy way to come up with content, right? But for a lot of people, that didn't feel natural. That didn't feel comfortable. That felt very forced and faked and inauthentic. While now you can film yourself, direct to camera, be yourself, include everything, let your freak flag fly, be yourself. And that's what's working. That's authentic. That's real. And good news is that's what's working with Reels right now. All right, now let's get back into the slides. And I think I'm about to answer a lot of your questions that you might have about Reels. First of all, captions. Should they be long or short? Because earlier we talked about captions and how getting people to read them is a huge tip. Okay, captions, long or short. Which should it be? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. What matters is if people will read them. Now, I can tell you this. Over 60% of people on Instagram never read the full caption. They never read the full caption. They read maybe the first sentence or two. From what we found, most people prefer captions that are shorter than 2 paragraphs. Shorter than 2 paragraphs. Most people prefer shorter captions, especially on Reels. On Reels, people oftentimes prefer even shorter captions, right? Because Reels are quick, they're punchy, they're engaging. So I don't want to have to stop my reel, stop watching Reels and like read a book. So generally speaking, shorter is more likely to be read, but the bottom line is do what works for you and do what works for your audience. Figure out what kind of content works best for them, figure out what kind of content they're most likely to read and engage with. But the bottom line is, will people read them? Long or short doesn't matter. What matters is if people will read them. All right, let's talk hashtags. Hashtags on Reels. Okay. All right, here we go. Hashtags can help, but here's the key point here. They're no longer necessary for success. I have not used a hashtag on any of my Reels in months, yet my Reels continue to perform well. They continue to reach new followers. They continue to go viral even. Hashtags can help. I'm not saying they can't. I'm not saying you shouldn't use them. But what I am saying is you shouldn't stress out over them. You shouldn't spend hours of your time researching them and trying to find the most ideal list. You shouldn't waste money on special apps and coaches who are going to help you find the best list of hashtags. They're just not as reliable or effective as they once were. A lot of hashtags are banned or blocked. A lot of hashtags don't perform as well anymore. They're not reliable anymore. So they can help. You can use them. They're not really going to hurt you necessarily, but they're not necessary for your success either. So let go of hashtags and focus on other things. Focus on engaging with people. Focus on creating better content. Focus on posting more content. Focus on stories or collaborations. Focus on direct messages. Focus on anything else on Instagram besides hashtags. There's a lot better places where you could spend your energy and your time and your focus than on hashtags. All right, speaking of time, what's the best time to post? I told you I'd answer all the frequently asked questions, right? What's the best time to post? The best time to post, write this one down. Best time to post is 4:17 a.m. on a Thursday after a full moon if you're a Virgo. Of course, that's not true. Of course, there is no one universal best time to post. There is no universal best time. Everyone's best time to post is different. Everyone's best time to post. So how do you figure out your best time to post? Because my best time to post is 7 a.m. Pacific time. 7 a.m. Pacific time. I wish it wasn't that early. I wish it was in the afternoon. My mom's best time to post is like 4 or 5 p.m. Pacific time. I did a collaboration yesterday with someone who's also an Instagram coach. Her best time to post is around 2 p.m. Eastern, so 11 a.m. Pacific time. So how do you figure out your own best time to post? Because you have a different best time than I do, has a different best time than your friend. We all have different ideal or best times to post. So how do you figure that out? First of all, test different times to find the sweet spot. Basically, post different times of day. Sometimes you'll post in the morning, sometimes you'll post in the afternoon, sometimes you'll post in late evening, sometimes you'll post around lunchtime. Post at different hours of the day. For a week or two, just post at different times. and keep track of how they do. Keep track of which ones are doing well, which ones are doing poorly. Just keep track of how they're doing. And whichever time ends up getting the most views, consistently getting the most engagement, stick to that time. Stick to that time. Once you find that time, post at approximately that same time every single day. So I did some tests. I posted in the morning, I posted in the midday, I posted in the afternoon. And from what I found, my reels consistently performed better in the morning. They got more views, more engagement when I posted early in the morning. So now I consistently every single day post at 7 a.m. I post in the morning every single day. So once you find that time, stick to that time. And the reason for that, the reason you should stick to it is because the algorithm can learn what time you post and thus push your posts out to more people. So if the Instagram knows, hey, at around 7 a.m., it doesn't have to be exact, but at around 7 a.m., Brock posts every day. Well, then at around 7 a.m., we're going to make sure more people see Brock's posts. We're going to make sure more people are ready to consume his content. And maybe it could even go viral. Speaking of viral, do you want to get into that? Do you want to talk about how to go viral? Going viral, getting millions of views on your videos. This is the juicy stuff. This is what everyone's waiting for. Here we go. Okay, let's talk about, I'm going to have a sip of water. Let's talk about how to go viral. I don't want you to use that word anymore. I think that viral is a bad word. Sure, it's a sexy word and people get really fired up when I say the word viral, but viral is not helpful. I don't think it's a helpful word because I think viral posts going viral, how to go viral, I think that leads to a lot of comparison. Because what is viral, right? If I post something and it gets 100,000 views, I'm like, that's my average. Like my average reel after 24 hours has about 100,000 views. For me, I'm like, okay, that's average. Maybe for you, getting 100,000 views would be a reason to celebrate, pop a bottle of champagne, and take yourself out to dinner. If Justin Bieber got 100,000 views, he would probably be like, is my Instagram broken? Did Instagram shut down 10 seconds after I posted this? We all have different definitions of viral. And so when we start to think about, is my video viral? Is it going viral? Is it as viral as everyone else's? Did it get enough views? Did it get 1 million views? Did it get 13 million views? It's a fast track towards comparison, and comparison is the thief of joy. So instead of the word viral, I want you to focus on this term right here, VFM, viral for me. That's winning the lottery. That's what winning the lottery, because for some people, winning the lottery and winning $20,000 might be life-changing. For some people, winning $20,000 would be a drop in the bucket, right? The lottery is different for different people. Viral is different for different people. So instead, I want you to use the term viral for me, VFM, viral for me. I want that to be what you put into practice. And viral for you is up to whatever you want to decide it to be. Whatever you want to be viral for you. Maybe viral for you is 1,000 views. That is awesome. If you've never had a video hit 1,000 views before, VFM, viral for you, viral for me, might be 1,000 views, and that's fine. But that way you're comparing your numbers to your numbers. You're comparing yourself to yourself. You're not comparing yourself to someone else. Viral for me. I mentioned a second ago, winning the lottery. How do you increase your odds of winning the lottery? How do you increase your odds of winning the lottery? You buy more lottery tickets, right? So let's translate that into Instagram speak. How do you increase your odds of going VFM on Instagram? How do you increase your odds of going viral for me on Instagram? You post more reels. Reels are like lottery tickets. If you want to win the lottery, if you want to have more viral for me moments, if you want to reach a significantly increased amount of people, if you want to grow your business, you have to post more reels. Here, I'll give you my own case study. This is me. This is in the last year. I've posted 503 reels as of this morning. I've had 42 VFM reels. 42. That's less than 1%. Less than 1% have been VFM. People, though, they often, I'll delete this because most of the time, people don't consider the fact that I've posted over 500. They're just like, oh, wow, he's had 42 viral reels. That's amazing, Brock. You've had 42. No wonder you've grown so much. You've had 42. But what they fail to remember is that I've also posted 500 reels. I posted 480 that didn't go viral. I bought a lot of lottery tickets. That's why I've won the lottery so much. That's why I've had so many reels get millions and millions of views, because I've been willing to consistently show up, to consistently serve. And the bottom line is, the more you post, the more you grow. The more you post, the more reels, or the more people your reels will reach. The more you post, the more you grow. Now, I'm going to share with you my exact strategy, my exact formula for posting more reels. Because right now, as we speak, I have over 30 reels in the can, so to speak. That's like a Hollywood term, in the can. For that means they're ready to go. They're done. They're ready to be posted. I have over 30. That means I could go into a coma for the next month. Knock on wood. God forbid I don't go into a coma for the next month. But imagine I could go into a coma for the next month, and I could still have someone. All they'd have to do is open up my phone, log into my Instagram, and they could still post a reel a day for a month. And no one would know that I even went into a coma. And I created those reels in less than an hour. 30 reels in about an hour. I want to show you how to do that. So I'm going to show you my exact strategy of how I can create that many reels, because I understand that the more you post, the more you grow. Post a reel a day, post multiple reels a day. That's overwhelming, right? That's scary. So I'm going to show you my exact formula for how I create so many reels at once. Have you heard of batching? You can raise your hand silently in wherever you're sitting right now, wherever you're watching this. Just raise your hand silently. You're going to look like a weirdo, especially if you're at a coffee shop, but raise your hand if you've heard of batching. Okay, batching is not what I do. You can put your hand down. Batching is not what I do. What I do is called chunking. Chunking. Let me explain it to you, first of all, just with my words before I even show you these slides. Chunking my content. First of all, batching. Batch producing content is like creating a batch of cookies. You're going to make the dough. You're going to add in the chocolate chips. You're going to put it in the, you got to turn on the oven. You got to let it preheat. You're going to scoop them out onto the pan. Then you're going to put them into the oven. Then you're going to set the timer. So you're making a batch at once. And the thought there is that once you're done making that batch, well, then now you have a bunch of cookies, AKA a bunch of content that you can space out. And for some people, that's really effective. But for me, I ain't got time for that. I don't have time to do all those steps at once. But I can do one chunk at a time, one step at a time. And that's essentially what chunking is. It's taking batch producing, which is helpful for a lot of people, and it's breaking it down into even smaller chunks. So what is chunking, and how exactly does it work on my Instagram? How do I do it? First of all, I save sounds. Remember earlier when we talked about scrolling with intentionality, intentionally consuming content? So as I scroll through Instagram, I save sounds. I write down ideas. I save audios. I create a notes app in my phone, and I'm just saving ideas, inspiration. I don't even necessarily know how I'm going to use the sounds yet. I don't know if I'm going to use them. I don't know how they're going to relate to my niche. I'm just saving sounds. That's one chunk. And the great thing about this chunk is chunk number one. I don't have to do it, with my hair and makeup done. I don't have to do it with a ring light in front of me. I can do this when I'm sitting on my couch. I can do this when I'm laying in bed, just saving sounds. Step two, when my hair and makeup is done, when I have the ring light set up, when I'm feeling good, looking good, then I record the clips and I save them. Note, I do not edit. I'm just recording and saving them. Of course, you got to save them so they go somewhere after you record them, but that's it. I'm just recording them. I'm recording the clips. I'm recording the voiceovers. I'm recording the raw audios. I'm not editing. I'm just recording. Because we all have those times where we're feeling good, we're looking good, our voice sounds good, we got our hair and makeup done, we just got our nails done, like, okay, now I'm ready to record. Great. Why would you waste that precious opportunity, that strike of confidence? Why would you waste that on, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to edit my reel. I'm going to scroll through and find audios. No. At that point, when you're feeling good and looking good and ready to record, you need to record as much as you possibly can. Don't let that time and opportunity go to waste. You got the nice backdrop set up. The kids are quiet. Everyone else is gone. Your house is empty. Record as much as you can. Then At a separate time, you can edit the videos. When you're fresh out of the shower and you're not looking your best, when your hair and makeup isn't done, when the house is crazy, then you can put in your headphones and you can edit the videos. You can add the text, you can add the captions, you can write the text that's going to go onto the reels. You can actually refine it. You can identify, how is this trending sound going to relate to my niche? How is this trending audio going to relate to my niche? How are these raw clips going to actually work for my Instagram account? And then you can post. But a lot of people try to do all 5 steps in one batch. That's what batch producing is, to be doing step 1 through 5 all at once, or step 1 through 4 over and over and over again. No, just do step 1, then do step 2. At a different time, do step 3, because they're different mindsets. There's different places to be, different spaces in time, different mentalities to have for these different steps. Break it down into small, bite-sized chunks. And I want to encourage you to just get started. I want to ask you if you're an action taker, because that's really all it boils down to. You don't need to be a risk taker, just an action taker, because you just received a lot of knowledge. I just dumped a bunch of knowledge and expertise and a bunch of tips and resources into your lap. So now the question is, are you an action taker? Are you going to take the step to start implementing these things? You're not going to be able to implement them all at once. You're not going to be able to do 3 pieces of text and a viral sound and a direct to camera, and you're going to put on a wig, and you're not going to be able to do all that all at once. I don't want you to try to do all of that at once. I just want you to take one small step forward. If you've never created a reel before, I just want you to figure out, how do I even record a reel? If you've never done a voiceover before, you've never done one of those lip sync reels, I just want you to experiment with what that's like. If you've never recorded yourself on video before, I want you to start practicing speaking into the mirror. Take one step forward. When there's a million problems in front of you, you can't solve them all at once. And trying to solve all of them at once, you will solve none of them effectively. Take one step forward, solve one problem, take one action, do one action, then move on to the next. But you have to just get started. You have to just get started. And I know that you're an action taker. You have this knowledge now. You are more than prepared. You are more than capable. And I want you to take action. I want you to start creating reels today.
I love the fact